I, female 28, recently moved into a new neighborhood. All my neighbors are lovely. Especially my next-door neighbor, bless his heart. He's married and has 2 kids. I noticed that he's been looking towards my house for a while. So far I'd caught him doing it twice. He had his binoculars with him and was basically, seemingly looking at my living room. I hate confrontation, so what I did was close the curtains and go about my day, but it started escalating. The other day he was peeking at my backyard, where I was sitting, from his balcony, and his binoculars fell in my backyard. I looked up and he was gone. He knew that I saw him. I took the binoculars and put them inside. In the evening, he came knocking on my door asking how I was done and whatnot. I rolled my eyes but kept it civil. He then brought up the binoculars and said that they must have fell in your backyard earlier today. I was like, wonder how that happened. He said something about his kids probably messing with them and asked if I could go get them for him. I said I have them, but I won't give them to him unless his wife comes and gets them herself. He looked at me shocked and angry and said that these binoculars are his, and they're special because he has them from when he was in military. And said that his wife has nothing to do with this. I told him that I will give them back once his wife shows up and asks for them. All he has to do is send her over. He threw a fit saying he can't send her because then she'll misunderstand the situation. I told him there is not misunderstanding if they're kids, we really the ones using the binoculars, and insisted I won't give them back till his wife comes and gets them. We got into an argument, but he kept his voice as low as he could, then left looking furious. He's been complaining about me wanting to stir drama, and keeps demanding I return his binoculars back to him and leave his wife out of it. I am throwing a birthday party for my daughter Maya, who is turning 16 in the beginning of October. It's nothing huge, just a party in our backyard with music and food, and Maya gets to invite some friends from school. Some of our family will be attending as well, including my younger sister and her son Dylan. Dylan's birthday is 12 days after Maya's, so my sister asked if she could bring a birthday cake for Dylan to the party, and was talking about baking a cake with his name on the top. I immediately shut that down. I tried to explain it carefully to my sister and said that the party is for Maya, and that bringing Dylan a cake could hurt Maya's feelings. My sister said that it's just a cake, and said I'm being difficult over nothing. She went and told our other siblings and our parents, who think I should just drop it and let my sister bring the cake, and that it's a petty hill to die on. Am I the asshole here?
I work in loss prevention for a department store. We are allowed to make citizens' arrests on shoplifters and charge them for the merchandise they steal, whether it is considered a felony or not. Yesterday, a woman entered the store with a toddler in a stroller and immediately went to our beauty/cosmetics department and started placing some very expensive perfume boxes in the stroller and covering them with the toddler's blanket. She then entered our children's clothing department and did the same with a couple of items from that department, hiding them under the blanket. When we approached her, she immediately broke out into tears and tried to tell us that she was only stealing the clothing. Once I pulled the blanket back and revealed the perfume to her, she started claiming that she was a single mother and was begging us to work with her. We took her back to our office, and unfortunately with the clothing and perfume combined she was just over the felony amount. I stepped out of the office and notified the police department. And everything in me wanted to work with her or take some items off to lower the amount, but it is against my policy and I couldn't risk my job for her. When the police arrived, she couldn't get anybody to come pick up her child, so we had to wait for a social worker to come and take the child away. The entire time there was a pit in my stomach making me regret it. She is now in custody and trying to make bail according to what I heard this morning. My wife and I are expecting our second baby in early November. Recently we've been buying a heap more baby things, and shopping so we don't have to worry about it in October. My wife has pretty much had a stress-free, easy pregnancy, like barely any morning sickness. She's pretty energetic and can do a bunch of things she couldn't do in her last pregnancy. Recently my sister has been bugging me the past month asking if I can babysit my niece for a week so she can go on a nice relaxing holiday in the Bahamas. I keep declining because I'm incredibly stressed and anxious about my baby boy on the way, and just want the next month to be baby-free, as our daughter is going to live with my wife's parents for the next 3 weeks so we can get some more stuff set up for our baby boy and relax and not have to be taking care of any kids. My sister keeps messaging me that I'm selfish and should be more concerned about helping her out with her daughter. So my brothers and I live together in an apartment for which all three of us are paying the mortgage and insurance, and our dad paid the down payment. My 22M brother, who I'll call Max, was told recently that he got his ex, who just popped up a month after their nasty breakup, was pregnant with allegedly his child. She asked to move in with us since her landlord increased her rent and it was somehow getting harder for her to afford food. Apparently, her car has been having engine problems too, and the alarm has been going off at random times. We were instantly suspicious, so I told her directly that she should take a NIPP, non-invasive prenatal paternity, test paid for by us, which is just a blood test from the mother and alleged father, so that we could know for sure that she's right. These tend to cost above $1,000, but I found a location around 40 minutes away that does them more affordably. But she said that she's been suffering from chronic nausea on car trips because of the pregnancy, and she's also deathly afraid of needles. Max says we should take her in anyway because he doesn't want his child to suffer, in case it is his. The most frustrating thing about Max is that he is too nice and lenient to even those who hurt him deeply. All it takes is a simple apology from someone and he'll forgive and forget literally anything they ever did to him. This might make him a good member of society, but it's certainly not good for him, and it has been a source of frustration for us. Our dad keeps telling us to look after our brother and to keep him in check so he doesn't get back together with his ex. We don't really mind another person living with us. But at the end of the day, this is about our brother. She's a snake that hurt him deeply and is asking us to do her a major favor without suffering a minor inconvenience for his sake. Of course, the other more likely possibility is, she's taking advantage of my brother's kind and forgiving nature to take care of her for the next 6 to 7 months, after which it'll turn out that he's not the father and she'll say, "Whoops, sorry about that," and leave. Or even worse, not leave and make us have to evict her. So, if she wants our support, she can suffer the 40-minute car ride and the blood test. If she can't do that, tough break, she's on her own. I'm a bride getting married in a year, and I personally am paying for all of the dresses for my 6 bridesmaids plus maid of honor, so they don't have to worry about that expense, as I know it can be a lot for some people. It's a lot for me to cover this, but I want my bridal party to not be so stressed and don't want to be unfair asking them to pay a lot for dresses. I'm ordering the dresses from an online store, and my sister-in-law mentioned she would like a shawl from the website. I said sure. I can add it to my order so you save on shipping, and you can just wire me the $35 cost of the shawl. Sister-in-law got upset at this and said I should be paying for the shawl. I understand it's only $35, but I said I'm already covering all the dresses, 7 in all, which is already a lot, and if you want something special to add to your look, you can get it on your own, no problem. Sister-in-law claims that as the sister of the groom, it's a special role and I shouldn't be stingy for a $35 shawl for her, as it's not even a lot. She has mentioned many times how as the sister-in-law she should stand out and is special. Personally, I believe my MOH and best friend of 20 years is the special standout one, but I didn't say anything. I said, well, if I spend $35 on you, I have to do the same for the entirety of the bridal party, otherwise it's unfair to my other friends and it's going to cost me even more. I'm already covering all the dresses and I feel this is a substantial gift already. Am I the asshole? I am on the spectrum of autism. I have an NT girlfriend of 3 months. We have been friends for 6 months before we started dating. I couldn't help but notice when she has her period. She gets horrific pain and has to skip on our planned outings and sometimes work too, and she has mood swings. And since she has a regular period, I was able to estimate when she will have it. She called me yesterday to cancel on a date. She said that she was under the weather and not in the mood to socialize. We rescheduled for next week, then I thought it would be thoughtful to get her something to make her feel better. I did a quick Google search and ended up buying some chocolate, chips, cookies, a bottle of wine, her favorite flavor of ice cream, and a bottle of Advil. When I went by her apartment to give the stuff to her, she was not that happy to see me, which I understand. I don't like to see people when I am overstimulated. I handed her the stuff. She asked what the occasion was. And I said that I read online that this stuff helps when a person are on their period. I thought she would appreciate it, but she started screaming at me and calling me a creepy for tracking when she gets her period. My fiancée, Diane, and I have been together for almost a decade. I met her in my second year of uni and it's been fantastic ever since. She's lovely and I cannot wait to marry her. For most of our relationship, my mom hated Diane for no reason. My mom would harass my fiancée, call her the most disgusting names, and act like a teenage bully. It got so bad that I stopped speaking to my mom for years because of it. About 2 years ago, my mom apologized for treating Diane poorly and wanted to welcome her into the family. It was rather unexpected. My mom never explained herself, only apologized for her past actions. Diane and I have accepted her apology, but my relationship with my mom has never quite been the same. I still keep her at a distance because even if she did apologize, she did cause me a lot of pain. Diane and my mom share a birthday. It's not a big deal, but my mom acts as if it is the biggest deal on earth. She used to turn her birthday into a competition of who gets the better gift. It was exhausting and was one of the reasons I stopped talking to her. Since her apology, her behavior surrounding her birthday has not been as extreme but still a little passive-aggressive. My mom and Diane's birthday was a few months ago. We couldn't celebrate my mom's birthday the day of, but I took her out for a relaxing spa day and dinner at an upscale restaurant. For Diane's birthday, we celebrated with a romantic week in Paris where I proposed. We had an amazing time and I'm so glad I can finally call her my fiancée. Diane is happy and I'm happy. My mom did not say anything about our proposal, but I assumed that she was happy for us, or at least neutral. A few days ago, I got a call from her. She was crying. She was screaming names at me, calling me a terrible son, and wishing me a terrible marriage. My mom told me that she felt neglected on her birthday and it was unfair that Diane got a romantic vacation and expensive ring while she was left with scraps. I thought that this was ridiculous and I told my mom that she should be grateful for her scraps and stop acting like a spoiled child. She did not take kindly to my words and cursed me out more before hanging up. Diane thinks I should have handled the situation with a bit more tact as to avoid causing my mom more emotional distress.